Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel, The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Shuangsheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 101 356 Demanding Justice. 101st of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The southern Purity Nanqing Palace and its surrounding area trembled violently, the deafening sounds echoing through the air. Elders and true disciples from the mortal realm layer emerged from their prefectures, gazing distantly at the scene. Days ago, rumors had spread that the Southern Venerable, known as the Divine Sect's Most Beautiful Woman, had been confined by the Wither Flourish Kurong Hall and forbidden from leaving the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace. The title of Most Beautiful Woman had first been proclaimed by her eldest disciple, Li Wei, and gradually gained wider recognition. The mid to upper tier cultivators at the main hall all knew the Venerable Nan was in trouble. Today, the formation had been breached, and a large force had surrounded the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace. It was clear that the matter had reached its conclusion. Inside the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace's main hall, a grand structure with a hip and gable roof covered in azure tiles, Yao Qingshan sat in the front row on the right side. Knowing this day would inevitably come, she remained utterly calm, awaiting the storm. The hall master and vice hall master of the Wither Flourish Kurong Hall were the first to enter. A man and a woman, one with a golden pure immortal physique and the other with a silver pure immortal physique, both around 50 years old, radiated blinding light that split the azure tile palace into gold and silver halves, their aura overwhelmingly imposing. They held authority over the sect's punishments, rewards, divine prison, and laws, residing year-round on the third level of the Asura layer. They were the two figures most feared by all Twin Rice sect disciples. All disciples without Rice people bloodlines entering the main hall must first pass through the Wither Flourish Kurong Hall. Most human martial mystic cultivators who infiltrate the main hall meet a tragic end. Only those who pass the scrutiny are allowed to proceed to the second layer of the Asura layer for cultivation. For pure human martial mystic cultivators to enter the mortal realm layer of the main hall is as difficult as climbing to the heavens. So Hall Master and is also here, said the Vice Hall Master of the Wither Flourish Kurong Hall. And Shanjing had been in the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace for 2 days. She sat in the highest seat at the head of the hall, her fingers absently twirling prayer beads, her expression shifting between shadows and light. Perhaps I should yield this seat to Hall Master Si Kong, she suggested. The Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Kurong Hall responded in an icy tone, there's no need. I'm here today merely to observe and apprehend. I hope Hall Master and will prioritize the Divine Sect's greater cause and not show favoritism or protection based on personal relationships. This matter is far too serious for us to take lightly. With that, the two hall masters of the Wither Flourish Kurong Hall took their seats on either side near the door, closing their eyes in meditation. From beginning to end, they never glanced at Yao Qingshan, clearly already having reached a verdict. Vice Hall Master Chu Tianshu of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall entered the hall. The serpent head on his neck flicked a glance at Yao Qingshan, hissed, and curled its lips into a malicious grin. He bowed to Shanjing and the Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Kurong Hall in turn before taking his seat directly across from Yao Qingshan. Immediately after, Great Zen Master Shinku appeared at the doorway. He wore a purple kasaya and stood 8 feet tall, his belly as large as a water vat. When he saw Shanjing seated at the head of the table, his eyes flickered, and he scurried aside like a mouse spotting a cat, too afraid to enter. Shinku. Shanjing called out. Great Zen Master Shinku quickly stepped forward, bowing respectfully and kowtowing in a fawning manner, greetings, martial uncle. Great Zen Master Shinku was the most ruthless of the 3 great Zen Masters of Coffin Mountain, possessing both exceptional cultivation and talent. In the Southern Territory, his infamy was second only to the 3 great barbarian bandits. What brings you here? Shanjing asked. Great Zen Master Shinku cautiously reported, I come on behalf of Master. Master has instructed me to bring Yao Qingshan back to him, alive. Shanjing closed her eyes, resting in silence. Great Zen Master Shinku remained frozen in a bow, unsure whether to advance or retreat. He only retreated to the side when the ancestor of the Sheng clan arrived. The ancestor of the Sheng clan was one of the 4 great powers of the Sui sect and also Elder Chu, one of the 7 great elders of the Southern Territory, responsible for affairs in Chu Prefecture. He was the protagonist of today's grand drama. After entering the hall and bowing to each hall master in turn, he pulled a bloodied human from his cosmic pouch and dumped him onto the floor with a thud. It was Qi Xiao. He was unconscious, his breath barely a wisp. The ancestor of the Sheng clan stood in the center of the hall, his gaze fixed on Yao Qingshan, sharp as a sword. Southern Venerable, this man belongs to your Southern Purity Nanqing Palace, doesn't he? The forces I dispatched tracked him all the way to Chu Prefecture, where they were completely wiped out. Why was he in Chu Prefecture? What was he doing there? How do you explain this, Venerable? Yao Qingshan glanced indifferently at Qi Xiao on the ground, refusing to be drawn into a cycle of self-justification. If you want to rise to power, do you have the strength to do so? The ancestor of the Sheng clan chuckled. Just as I expected, you'd try to turn the tables. I have no interest in your position as Southern Venerable. Yao Qingshan, we have irrefutable evidence. The only reason we're giving you a chance to explain yourself is because of your high rank and status. We'd prefer you confess voluntarily and redeem yourself, perhaps allowing you to die a swift death. Otherwise, your fate will be either imprisonment in the divine prison or exile to Coffin Mountain, where you'll be neither truly alive nor truly dead. Yao Qingshan had long prepared herself for this moment. She remained silent, not uttering another word. From the moment the hall masters appeared together, her fate was sealed. Seeing that things weren't unfolding as he'd anticipated, no heated arguments, no swords drawn, the ancestor of the Sheng clan hesitated, glancing covertly at Anshanjing above. Realizing his one-man show wasn't working, the vice hall master of the heavenly principles Tianli Hall broke the silence. I have a vague impression of this boy. He seems to be from the Qi clan of the Southern Territory. Could he have escaped back to Chu Prefecture after leaking some crucial secret? That's precisely what I fear most. The ancestor of the Sheng clan replied. Have you interrogated him? The vice hall master of the heavenly principles Tianli Hall asked. We did, but he refused to speak, even under torture. We brought him back to have the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall use the soul-seizing technique to directly extract his memories, the ancestor of the Sheng clan said. Only those who had cast Death Spirit Fire could perform the soul-seizing technique. If an outsider attempted it, the Death Spirit Fire within Qi Xiao would instantly ignite. If your men were wiped out, where did you capture him? The vice hall master of the heavenly principles Tianli Hall asked. That boy is incredibly cunning. Knowing the Death Spirit Fire within him would reveal his location, he hid in an underground immortal mansion. If I hadn't intervened personally, it would have been difficult to track him down. Seeing Yao Qingshan's continued indifference, the ancestor of the Sheng clan couldn't help but say sternly, whether the secret has been leaked will be revealed shortly. Yao Qingshan, you've always prided yourself on your exceptional intelligence. Since childhood, you've been the Southern Territory's top heaven's chosen daughter, even deceiving Hall Master N. But you could never have dreamed that in my youth, I once met the young Zhou Bida among the Zhu Li clan. He later joined the Zhu Li hidden sect, didn't he? Li Wei is a divine hidden one of the Zhu Li hidden sect, and Li Songgu appeared at Southern Yan Pass around the same time. Therefore, you, too, are a member of the Zhu Li hidden sect. Yao Qingshan's mind cleared. The people of the Sui sect had deliberately used Zhou Bida as bait to eliminate her, hoping to expose the Zhu Li hidden sect and wipe them out in one fell swoop. The Sui sect's ambition to seize Li province had remained unchanged throughout history, passed down through generations. Yao Qingshan nodded slightly, sighing in admiration. Impressive. I concede defeat in this game, completely and utterly. Yang Shenjing is indeed a seasoned strategist. I'm truly impressed. I have no choice but to admit it. All eyes in the hall turned to her, assuming she had confessed. The ancestor of the Sheng clan waved his hand, his voice rising. No, it's your Zhu Li hidden sect that's truly impressive. Zhang Xin is dead. The divine sect's centuries-long foundation at Southern Yan Pass has been destroyed by you. The vice hall master of the heavenly principles Tianli Hall glanced at Anshanjing, seizing the opportunity to add insult to injury. Zhang Xin was an elder of the divine sect's prefectural prefecture, and that prefecture is also the location of our main hall. His death has had a devastating impact, and countless others are sure to be implicated. This crime alone warrants the death penalty. Furthermore, Southern Yan Pass is of utmost importance. Hundreds of lives lost, a massive blood debt. Yao Qingshan was astonished. Logically, with Yang Shenjing personally orchestrating the operation and holding every advantage, the Zhu Li hidden sect should have been completely annihilated. How had they managed to strike back from such a disadvantaged position? Outside the hall, someone reported that the elder from the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall responsible for cultivating Death Spirit Fire had arrived. The Ren Dao elder entered the hall and released strands of spirit light threads from his fingertips, entering Qi Xiao's 7 orifices to search his soul spirit and memories. After a moment, he bowed to Hallmaster and in the Hallmaster of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall, I have completed my investigation. The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall asked with a smile, did he reveal any secrets? And Shanjing opened her eyes. As long as no secrets had been leaked, she could still speak on the matter. But if any major secrets had indeed been revealed, she would have to avoid any involvement. Such a revelation would inevitably alarm the rice ancestor. The Heaven Valley Tianja Hall elder turned to the ancestor of the Sheng clan, Elder Chu, did he have a letter on him? The ancestor of the Sheng clan looked down at Qi Xiao, whose spiritual artifact robes had been shredded to pieces. Even if he had a letter on him, it's been crushed to powder. In any case, I found no letter on him. The elder from the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall nodded slightly. Qi Xiao's sea of consciousness has been tampered with. What did you say? The ancestor of the Sheng clan demanded in a low voice. The elder from the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall replied, a section of Qi Xiao's memory is missing. From the intact portions, it's clear he was carrying a letter from the fourth divine son. The letter instructed him to return immediately to the divine sect's headquarters and inform the Southern Venerable if anything changed at Southern Yan Pass. Clearly, the fourth divine son sensed danger before entering the pass and made preparations in advance. Shortly after leaving Southern Yan Pass, Qi Xiao was pursued by the sect's top experts. The ancestor of the Sheng clan detected a hint of doubt in the elder's words, you'd better not be spreading nonsense. The elder from the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall, responsible for cultivating the death spirit fire, naturally possessed formidable psychic power, making him a holy spiritual master. Unfazed by the ancestor of the Sheng clan's threat, he gestured for the ancestor to investigate himself. Simultaneously, Shencang and the Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall each sent out spiritual light threads to probe Qi Xiao's mind. Southern Purity Nanqing Palace had been sealed off days ago. Yao Qingshan had no access to outside intelligence and remained ignorant of the true situation at Southern Yan Pass. Sensing a potential turning point, she decided to adopt a wait-and-see approach. What exactly is my eldest disciple plotting? She wondered. If even she had failed to grasp the peril at Southern Yan Pass, how could the boy have foreseen it? Shencang retracted her spiritual light threads. Indeed, there is a missing letter in his sea of consciousness. Logically, if the three disciples had betrayed us, the fourth divine son shouldn't have sent him back to the main hall. He should have been returned to the Qi clan or the Zhuoqiu sect. How do we explain this? The ancestor of the Sheng clan replied, the Zhuoqiu sect must have already received news and deliberately erased his memories, sending him back to cover up the truth. If I had done it, I would have wiped his memories clean. How could a trace of the letter remain? Consider this, if he truly wanted to return to the main hall, wouldn't it have been faster to go directly to the Ancestor Rice Temple? Why take the long way around, to the entrance of the underground immortal mansion? The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall agreed, this is indeed strange and defies explanation. The elder from the Heaven Valley Tianja Hall added, even using the soul-seizing technique requires considerable time and a degree of luck. The sea of consciousness is incredibly fragile and easily becomes chaotic. Precisely targeting a specific memory is no simple feat. The ancestor of the Sheng clan's eyes narrowed, suspecting the old man was deliberately opposing him. He snorted coldly. Hall Master Si Kong, Yao Qingshan herself admitted to being a member of the Zhuli hidden sect. Coupled with the irrefutable evidence from Southern Yan Pass, we should simply condemn her. Qi Xiao is nothing more than a decoy planted by the Zhuli hidden sect. Elder Chu, when did I ever admit to being a member of the Zhuli hidden sect? I merely admire your methods. After all, you've gone to great lengths to deal with me, Yao Qingshan retorted. The Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall asked, Southern Venerable, do you have anything else to say? Yao Qingshan shook her head. I know nothing about what's happening outside. My people returned to report to me, but they were beaten into living corpses. What more can I say? The ancestor of the Sheng clan pressed on, your eldest disciple destroyed all of the divine sect's holdings at Southern Yan Pass, leading to the deaths of countless sect disciples. Do you think you can escape responsibility? Outside the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace, a commotion erupted. Elder Shu's voice boomed from outside, get out of the way. I demand to see the Hall Master. What's happening now? The ancestor of the Sheng clan demanded, his voice filled with fury. An enforcement team soldier rushed in to report, two elders from the Spirit Valley Lingu Hall, Elder Shu and Elder Shu Twin Rice people have brought in a severely wounded person and demand to see Hall Master N. Who's blocking my people? Shencang seethed, her anger barely contained. The enforcement team soldier immediately prostrated himself in fear. Martial uncle, don't be angry. This monk will bring them in, Great Zen Master Shinku said quickly, hurrying out. Moments later, Elders Shu carried the severely wounded Tuoba Buchuo to the Azure Tile Palace. One of the elders reported, Hall Master, it's Tuoba Buchuo, a prodigy under the fourth divine son. He claims to have urgent intelligence to report. The other elder chuckled, we found him in the Netherdark Swamp. The kid's tough, not a single piece of good flesh left on him, and one of his legs is broken. Yet he was still desperately swimming on the surface. If we hadn't found him, he definitely wouldn't have made it back. The two elders had been in the Netherdark Swamp because Li Wai had previously exchanged a large quantity of scrap metal for a massive sum of Xuanhuan coins at the Spirit Valley Lingu Hall. Elder Shu had asked Li Wai about it, and Li Wai, without hesitation, had revealed the location of the treasure trove. This was how they had stumbled upon Tuoba Buchuo, who had just escaped from the underground immortal mansion. Hall Master N. The Sui sect has betrayed us. The fourth divine son is dead. Tuoba Buchuo's voice choked with sobs, his hair disheveled. He was grievously injured, covered in countless wounds. His abdomen had been ripped open, and more than a dozen bones were broken. Tears streamed down his face, a truly pitiful sight. He genuinely believed Li Wai was trapped at Southern Yan Pass, facing certain death. Inside and outside the hall, everyone froze in stunned silence. The ancestor of the Sheng clan was the first to react, roaring, "What did you say?" His cultivation was profound, and his bellow carried immense psychic power. Tuoba Buchuo's body went limp, and he collapsed backward. "Old Ghost Sheng, are you trying to silence him right in front of this venerable one?" With a resounding crash, Yao Qingshan slammed her palm onto the chair, shattering it, and stood up abruptly. She didn't know what Li Wei had planned, but she knew that stirring up chaos was their only chance of survival. Tuoba Buchuo was revived. Trembling, he retrieved a blood-stained letter, wrapped in layers of animal hide, from his ancestral field. "What is this?" Yao Qingshan took it. Tuoba Buchuo's expression was defeated as he wept. "I don't know. Brother Wei. The fourth divine son told me to bring it back and give it to Hall Master N. The animal hide was sealed with special runes from the Spirit Valley, Lingu Hall. And Shanjing took the package, glanced at the ancestor of the Sheng clan, then broke the runes and retrieved 2 blood-stained letters. The ancestor of the Sheng clan found it laughable, knowing this must be some trick by Li Wei. But to dare frame the Sui sect so brazenly was simply absurd. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 102 357 Lingxiao City, the city of 10,000 miles and hundreds of fangs, houses. 102nd of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. And Shanjing was the first to read Zhang Xin's blood scroll. Her expression shifted from calm to increasingly grim. The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall chuckled. "I never considered the possibility of the Sui sect's betrayal." "Then, you can start considering it now." And Shanjing flung the blood scroll across the hall, causing a violent surge of spiritual qi to ripple through the chamber. The old ancestor of the Sheng clan grew cautious, whispering, "Hall Master, are you trusting a mere child? See for yourselves. See the crimes your Sui sect has committed. Zhang Xin exposed 10 of your gravest sins. And after he did, he was killed." And Shanjing declared. The old ancestor of the Sheng clan was stunned, feeling as though he had been ambushed. As he hesitated whether to retrieve the scroll, the Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall moved first, using his spiritual qi to draw it into his hand. He began to read aloud. "To the ancestor of the rice, Heavenly Venerable, Elder Zhang Xin of Fu Prefecture respectfully submits this blood scroll." Hiss. Written by Zhang Xin on his deathbed. He froze. The old ancestor of the Sheng clan's face darkened. "It's undoubtedly a forgery. Do you think we can't distinguish between truth and falsehood? The blood, the script, the subtle nuances of the characters, all can be examined in minute detail." The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall shook his head slightly and snorted, continuing to read. "Yang Shenjing of the Sui sect, a domineering figure, entered the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane just over a month ago. He then used the Phoenix Terrace as a weapon to leak divine sect secrets, leading to the deaths of dozens of sect masters. Exploiting this crisis, he secretly seized control of the sect's forces in Lingxiao City and the 4 great city passes. The situation in the other provinces is clear from this example." The 2 hall masters of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall exchanged concerned glances, their eyes filled with suspicion and coldness as they turned to the old ancestor of the Sheng clan. The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall continued. "I have also heard that the second palace master, Xianmin, bestowed the 1,000 lives immeasurable pill upon Yang Shenjing, intending to cultivate him into a transcendent. This old rogue, Yang Shenjing, was originally a retainer who devoured the Zhu tribe's main family to rise to power. Now, he has become Xianmin's disciple. The Sui sect's future looks bright, with countless sects eager to devour the divine sect and serve their new master." The old ancestor of the Sheng clan erupted in fury. If the blood scroll hadn't been held by a Vice Hall Master, he would have already struck down the accuser. Lies. False accusations. This blood scroll must be a forgery, written after Zhang Xin's death, using his blood to mimic his handwriting. The Vice Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall reminded him. The Sui sect's report stated that Zhang Xin's identity was exposed, forcing Yao Qian to silence him. He died in the attendant hall's prison. No matter how formidable the 4th divine son may be, could he truly outmatch Yao Qian? Could he have accessed the body under Yao Qian's watchful eye and forged a blood scroll? The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall continued reading. First crime, selling disabled ricefolk to the 3 island barbarians to be used as mounts and food. By the time he finished reading, the old ancestor of the Sheng clan's face was ashen. 7 or 8 of the accusations in the blood scroll were true. Clearly, the blood scroll was genuine. But, how could such a mistake have happened? Before the old ancestor of the Sheng clan could explain, the Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall, who had been playing along with him just moments ago, instantly switched sides. His face grim, he stood up. Excellent. The Sui sect truly has an insatiable appetite. The divine sect has secretly given you so much support, yet you're still not satisfied. Do you really think you've covered your tracks perfectly? I've received countless secret reports for a long time now, but I've held back because your usefulness outweighed your transgressions. What are the rice folk in your eyes? Tools to be exploited. Food to feed exotic beasts. You've pushed the divine sect too far. Just wait. When the ancestor of rice emerges from seclusion, we'll see how the Sui sect climbs to the top among the tens of thousands of sects. The Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall took the blood scroll and examined it for authenticity. The Vice Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall said, I've suspected something was amiss for a long time. Secret reports said the divine sect's assets at South Yan Pass were destroyed by the attendant hall and the commander-in-chief's office. How did you manage to pin it all on the Julie hidden sect? Yao Qingshan had grasped the general outline of the situation, but she still couldn't understand how Li Wei had forced Zhang Xin to write the blood scroll. The move was utterly brilliant. She had to strike back. Did you lure Li Songgu to South Yan Pass? Did you use me as bait, or my eldest disciple? You. Yao Qingshan. The old ancestor of the Sheng clan was furious, and you. You've all been played like fools by that wet behind the ears brat. The blood scroll is genuine. It must have been written by Zhang Xin before his death. The Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall's eyes were cold, his killing intent undisguised. The revelations in the blood scroll had crossed every ricefolk's bottom line. Most ricefolk already harbored deep-seated prejudices against humans, not just against Yao Qingshan, but also against Yang Shenjing and the old ancestor of the Sheng clan. Yao Qingshan retrieved a thick stack of documents from her boundary pouch. Over the past decade, this venerable has also collected considerable evidence of the Sui sect's crimes. Please, Hall Masters, take a look. After reading the second blood scroll, and Shanjing sighed and turned her gaze to Tuoba Buchuo, did you come under pursuit as soon as you left headquarters? Tuoba Buchuo nodded. The moment I received the blood scroll, I rushed to the Ancestor Rice Temple, intending to return to headquarters through the space teleportation formation. However, I was ambushed and nearly died. With no other option, I had to flee thousands of miles to reach the entrance of the underground immortal mansion. Elder Shu cursed, damn it. This is too much. Death awaits us whether we leave or return. How are we supposed to survive? Yao Qingshan said, did you all hear that? Information about entering and leaving headquarters has long been controlled by others. What we know is only what they choose to tell us. Why did Qi Xiao go to Chu Prefecture? Like Tuoba Buchuo, he couldn't return and had to take the underground immortal mansion route. Tuoba Buchuo, is it true that the fourth divine son is dead? Tuoba Buchuo shook his head, his heart heavy. I don't know. South Yan Pass has closed its gates. I heard that Yao Shaoqing of Phoenix Terrace, the commander-in-chief's office, and the Zhang clan have joined forces to hunt him down. He can't escape. Most likely, he's already met his end. Yao Qingshan walked to Shanjing's side and looked at Li Wei's blood scroll. If my disciple truly met with disaster, I'll take Yao Qian's life. I won't care if he's a member of the divine sector. I'll make the entire Sui sect pay with their lives. He wrote to me for help, and Shanjing said. Yao Qingshan replied, it's too dangerous. You can't go. Let me, his master, handle this. How dare he compare the rice sect to a heretical cult? If he's still alive, I'll give him a proper thrashing. The Vice Hall Master of the Heavenly Principles Tianli Hall turned to Tuoba Buchuo and smiled. You've got a tenacious spirit. It's fortunate you escaped. Otherwise, the Sui sect would have deceived everyone once again. Would you be interested in becoming my disciple? Tuoba Buchuo replied. Tuoba Buchuo will never betray Venerable Nan or the Southern Purity Nanqing Palace. The Hall Master of the Withered Flourish Karong Hall rose to his feet. The Sui sect's power, threat, and influence are too great. This matter requires careful consideration. Elder Chu, your mind must hold many secrets. I wonder if Yang Shenjing of the Sui sect has planted the death spirit fire within you. Take him away. The cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plain was originally a plateau that rose abruptly from the ground, reaching a height of 3,000 zhang. It had no gentle slopes, only sheer cliffs and precipices. From a distance, it resembled a god's mountain that had been flattened, or a celestial stone platform. No one knew where it came from, but it had existed since ancient times. From South Yan Pass, following the Shu Mountain heavenly vein, one could ascend to the entrance of the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plain, the magnificent southern heavenly gate. The southern heavenly gate was as vast as the sky, its pillars like mountain peaks, forged from 1,000 forged cloud-patterned iron. Two guardian giant beasts, the coiling kite panchi resembling giant pythons or dragons over 200 meters long, coiled around the gate, their scales shimmering like metal. After a simple inspection, the Taishi clan's forces officially entered the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plain above the sea of clouds. A surge of potent spiritual qi washed over them. On either side of the wide heavenly road, broad enough for 10 exotic beast carriages to travel abreast, spirit lakes and spirit mounds dotted the landscape. Exotic beasts and birds flitted about, and ancient structures were often shrouded in the shimmering light of formations. Tai Shibai noticed Li Wei gazing intently at the scenery outside and chuckled. First time in the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane. Have you noticed anything special? The spiritual chi here is incredibly dense. The entire cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane feels like a Dao domain, Li Wei remarked. Tai Shibai said, look at the soil beneath your feet. Spiritual soil. The entire cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane is covered in spiritual soil. Li Wei was genuinely shocked. The soil on either side of the heavenly road was a shallow tricolor. Tai Shibai chuckled. In ancient times, the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane was indeed entirely spiritual soil, with a vast expanse of immortal soil at its center, the fallen immortal realm. When it fell, it dispersed the surrounding nether realm of the dead, forming the living realm world we now inhabit. But much of its spiritual essence has long since dissipated, leaving only about 1 or 2/10 of its original potency. Li Wei said, even so, it's still extraordinary. Whoever controls the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane effectively controls an inexhaustible source of resources and the finest cultivation environment in the world. Tai Shibai nodded, indeed. The 3,000 miles of fertile land on the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane far surpasses the 28 provinces of Lingxiao in terms of dimensional level. The material strength and stability here are several times greater, and many minerals are unique to this place. Li Wei thought to himself, no wonder anyone who becomes master of the cloud heaven Yuntian immortal plane feels like a celestial being, transcending the mortal realm. On either side of the heavenly road, streams several dozen feet wide appeared, their waters murmuring as spiritual mist drifted above. In the distance, bathed in the four-colored glow of the immortal soil, Lingxiao City came into view. The city walls were majestic, constructed from the glazed spirit transformation stone, a material unique to the immortal planes. And with a certain metal, 10,000 dragons had been cast to form the 10,000 dragons wall formation on the south city wall. The caravan followed the increasingly wide spiritual stream heavenly road into the city. A cacophony of voices and an atmosphere of unparalleled prosperity unfolded before Li Wei's eyes. Tai Shibai chuckled. Zuo Ning, do you know what makes Lingxiao City so special? What? Li Wei asked. Tai Shibai replied, safety. Utter safety, which has fostered its unparalleled prosperity since ancient times. Unlike those provincial cities, where a single transcendent disaster can lead to countless casualties. Does Lingxiao City ban martial mystic battles? Li Wei asked. Tai Shibai waved his hand. Lingxiao City is divided into li, with 10 li forming a fang. It's structured into 10,000 li and 100 fangs. Each fang houses 100,000 people. After the Shoutian Edict, the city's population plummeted, but it now far exceeds that number. Every fang and every li has its own independent formations, completely isolating them from each other. In the event of combat, these formations activate instantly, minimizing the impact. Furthermore, beneath the city lies a network of 36 earth veins, each fang has a boundary suppressing steel, and above, the 9 heavens beyond the clouds formation covers the entire city. These 3 elements work together to absorb any energy released during battles. Even a Dao Seed Realm martial mystic cultivator would struggle to cause significant damage within the city. Beyond the Li and Fangs, 4 spiritual streams and countless historical sites, 6 ancient celestial emperor estates, the Thundercloud Heavenly God's Mansion, and countless other transcendent mansions and gardens are all nestled within the city. Lingxiao City spans hundreds of miles in total. When we have time, I'll take you and Shangsen on a tour. I guarantee you'll be amazed. Li Wei, more interested in practical matters, asked, what's the situation at the Grand Temple of Eternal Harmony? What can we spiritual masters do to help? Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuanhuan Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 103 358 First Commander Tai Shi Yu. 103rd of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Tai Shibai treated Li Wei with far greater intimacy and regard than any other retainer. First, it was because of Li Wei's extraordinary talent in psychic power. In Lingxiao City, fewer than 5 heavenly prides under the age of 60 had cultivated to his level of psychic power. And, Zuo Ning, was only in his 30s. Second, Tai Shibai had formed an excellent first impression of him on the post ship. Kindness was rarer than a millennium essence herb in this era. This matter must be explained from its roots, Tai Shibai said. Over the past decade or so, in Lingxiao City, especially within the great clans of the imperial court, many women have been giving birth after drinking from the mother-child spring, resulting in mothers without fathers. Li Wei asked curiously, was this forcibly mandated by the Grand Palace Mistress of the Phoenix Pavilion? When you come to Lingxiao City, never discuss anything about the Grand Palace Mistress. Remember this. Tai Shibai cautioned. Then, using telepathic transmission, he continued, the Grand Palace Mistress has been locked away in her palace for over a decade. No one knows her current condition. Thanks to the efforts of the second and third palace masters to restore order, the Shoutian edict is now practically worthless. While there's no explicit law, within the imperial court, if an entire clan's women refuse to drink from the mother-child spring, they're sure to be attacked by political rivals. They'll accuse you of harboring resentment towards the Grand Palace Mistress and harboring rebellious intentions against the imperial court. Li Wei asked, isn't that a bit extreme? Tai Shi Bai gave a bitter smile. For 1,000 years, the Grand Palace Mistress was revered as a deity by countless people. Even now, she still is. In reality, the vast majority of clans and their women willingly drink from the mother-child spring to bear children. But something's gone wrong with the mother-child spring. Lately, women who drink from the spring have been giving birth to ghost infants. Even the mothers themselves are turning into ghost mothers. At first, the imperial court managed to suppress the news, secretly suppressing and confining these ghost mothers and ghost infants. But the situation has worsened over the past 2 years. Women who drank from the spring years ago have begun experiencing these transformations, including some with extremely high cultivation levels. In recent days, the news has spread throughout the streets and alleys, fueling rampant rumors. Some say the Grand Palace Mistress didn't actually find the mother-child spring back then, but the ghost infant spring. They claim everyone who has drunk from the spring will eventually suffer the same fate. Some say the imperial temple's lax supervision of the mother-child spring allowed the nether realm of the dead to exploit it. Others go even further, claiming the Tai Shi clan is the mastermind behind the rumors, using the mother-child spring to undermine the Grand Palace Mistress's authority, sow discord within the imperial court, and secretly plot a rebellion. Li Wei, merely listening to Tai Shi Bai's account, could already sense a storm brewing, a thick atmosphere of conspiracy hanging in the air. He said, to dare slander the Grand Palace Mistress and drag the Tai Shi clan into this. There must be a mastermind behind these rumors. We're already investigating, Tai Shi Bai replied, his face etched with worry. Zuo Ning, you must understand this is a critical time. Externally, the demon race is wreaking havoc in the East Sea and the Western Territory. Internally, powerful foreign cultivators are temporarily residing in Lingxiao City. At this crucial juncture, for such a farce to erupt. No, it's not even remotely funny. The ghost infant incident is specifically targeting those most loyal to the Grand Palace Mistress and the imperial court. Now, with our reputation in tatters and the court in turmoil, the second palace master, given her temperament, will surely demand heads to roll. Who will take the blame? If we can't resolve this quickly or uncover the truth, the Tai Shi clan will face disaster. Li Wei knew about the demon race's plan to attack Lingxiao City, so he strongly suspected their involvement. It was a perfect three-pronged attack. First, it threw the imperial court into chaos, leaving them too preoccupied to notice the true intentions of the demon race and the twin rice sect's attack on Lingxiao City. Second, it further tarnished the Grand Palace Mistress's reputation, causing even the most loyal members of Lingxiao Palace to waver. Third, political enemies would inevitably seize this opportunity to attack the Tai Shi clan, plunging the imperial court into infighting. The Tai Shi clan would be marginalized and suppressed, despite controlling half the defensive formations of Lingxiao City and the 4 major passes. The consequences were obvious. This move is truly brilliant, a precise strike at the imperial court's Achilles heel, Li Wei thought, secretly admiring the strategy. Was the mother-child spring inherently flawed, or was it tampered with? Tai Shi Bai shook his head gently, we don't know yet. Many secrets are known only to the older generation. But you needn't worry too much. The Tai Shi clan has a transcendent ancestor. We won't fall so easily. We've weathered countless storms over the past 1,000 years. The carriage passed through the bustling commercial district and arrived at Cloud Sleeve Ward, where the Tai Shi clan resided. The ward wall, 30 meters high, was constructed from glazed spirit transformation stone. As the formation activated, the main gate swung open. The streets grew noticeably quieter. Buildings on either side were made of unique materials, with guardian formation stone beasts perched on their roofs and in front of their doors. Cloud Sleeve Ward, centered around the Tai Shi clan's ancestral manor, spanned a 100-mile radius. Nearly all residents within the ward were closely connected to the Tai Shi clan, their families having been intertwined for generations through blood ties and marriage. The Tai Shi clan's ancestral manor was, needless to say, magnificent and opulent. Within its walls, several mountains were incorporated, with lush treasure trees, strange birds nesting, and a sense of profound mystery. In Lingxiao City, where every inch of land was precious, this was true extravagance. A mile into the manor grounds. On a white stone plaza, all spiritual masters dismounted their carriages. Several Dao Seed Realm elder stewards emerged, first bowing to Tai Shi Bai. Then, they produced formation tokens they had prepared in advance, distributing them to the guests and assigning their residences. Li Wei received a palm-sized jade formation token. On its front were the characters, Tai Shi. On the back, his address was inscribed, Washing Lane, Weiyi Residence. The ancestral manor housed numerous female members of the clan, so it was not suitable for retainers like them. Long Shangsen, wearing a veil, did not receive a formation token, indicating she was permitted to stay within the manor itself. A hearty laugh echoed from the northeast corner of the square. Junior brother Bai, you've finally arrived in Lingxiao City. Ah, cousin Shangsen, it's been 2 years since we last met, hasn't it? First Commander Tai Shi Yu, dressed in a magnificent talisman robe and wearing an azure jade crown, strode forward with a spring in his step, his face beaming. He appeared to be in his late 20s. He was handsome and aristocratic, with a mole between his eyebrows. Unlike the aggressive aura of a first commander, he exuded the carefree charm of a young playboy. Several retainers followed behind him, each with striking appearances and powerful auras. Tai Shi Yu stood beside Tai Shi Bai, but his gaze remained fixed on Long Shangsen, scrutinizing her intently as if he could see right through her. He smiled warmly. You've become even more beautiful, cousin Shangsen, more beautiful than ever before. I'm attending the West Sea Palace's birthday banquet in a couple of days and need a female companion. Would you do me the honor of accompanying your cousin? Long Shangsen offered a reserved, shallow smile and turned to Tai Shi Bai. Tai Shi Bai, well aware of Tai Shi Yu's character, snorted coldly. Tai Shi Yu, the family is in a precarious situation, teetering on the brink of disaster. Instead of addressing the crisis and taking responsibility, you're attending a birthday banquet. Is this how a first commander should behave? The Imperial Temple's problems are for the old men to handle. Why are you in such a hurry? What good will it do? Especially with the people you brought. Tai Shi Yu's eyes twinkled with amusement, his expression mocking. Then, to everyone's shock, he began walking toward Long Shangsen. All the retainers knew about the delicate relationship between Tai Shi Bai and Long Shangsen. Tai Shi Yu's words, gaze, and actions ignited their fury. 2 retainers stepped forward from behind Tai Shi Bai, blocking Tai Shi Yu's path. As retainers of the Southern Yan Pass General's mansion, they could endure being slighted, but they couldn't stand by while their young master was humiliated. Tai Shi Yu, heir to the Tai Shi clan's mastery of psychic power, ranked among the top 10 experts in Lingxiao City within the current 60-year cycle. He merely flickered his double pupils, no spirit light spilling out, yet the 2 retainers who had cultivated Dao lotuses collapsed to the ground, utterly defenseless. Long Shangsen's heart skipped a beat. Seizing the opportunity, she moved to hide behind Li Wei. Cousin Shangsen, why are you hiding from me? Am I that terrifying? Seeing Li Wei standing firm before him, Tai Shi Yu's expression turned icy. He roared in a voice charged with psychic power, don't you know your place? Get out of my way. The force behind this command was even more potent than his earlier soul-seizing gaze. It was like thunder exploding in his ears. Whoosh. In front of Li Wei, a curved barrier of crimson gold flames materialized, resembling a shield, and deflected Tai Shi Yu's sonic psychic power. However, it couldn't completely block the attack, and Li Wei stumbled back 2 steps. A flicker of surprise crossed Tai Shi Yu's eyes as he sized up Li Wei. You can't be older than 40, right? To cultivate psychic power to this level at such a young age is rare even in this world. What's your name? Zuo Ning. Li Wei replied, neither arrogant nor servile. Never heard of you. So you're just an unknown. Tai Shi Yu pondered for a moment, then shook his head. Seeing Tai Shi Bai's face growing increasingly cold, on the verge of erupting, he chuckled, never mind. Let's go. We'll drink wine and listen to music at the immortal forest in the Pale Moon Quarter. After leaving the manor, the frivolous smile vanished from Tai Shi Yu's face. Using psychic power, he transmitted a message to one of his retainers behind him, investigate this Zuo Ning. Find out where he came from. This world isn't so vast that a top-tier psychic power genius could just appear out of nowhere. He then instructed another retainer, keep a close watch on Long Shangsen. Don't miss a single detail of her movements, where she goes, who she meets, the moment she leaves the ancestral manor. Li Wei watched Tai Shi Yu and the others disappear into the distance. What a formidable first commander Tai Shi. I couldn't even withstand a single shout from him. Long Shangsen, no longer sullen, smiled brightly. He's one of the 10 talents of Lingxiao City, a top-ranked figure in the Jiazi register. Just surviving his roar is enough to make you famous in Lingxiao City. Tai Shi Bai said, still as unserious as ever. Half of the Tai Shi clan's reputation has been ruined by him. Now, people outside call him, Tai Shi the Romantic. He's gone through at least 100 lovers. Let's head to our residences and rest. The clan head will host a banquet at the Ancestral Manor tonight to welcome you all. Tai Shi Bai and Long Shangsen proceeded deeper into the Ancestral Manor. Li Wei walked alongside several spiritual masters residing in Washing Lane, chatting amiably and getting to know them. Washing Lane, located 5 or 6 miles from the Ancestral Manor's main gate, was a secluded area filled with 3-story pavilions. Each residence was a small courtyard with a combined hall and living quarters, spacious enough for 6 or 7 people. Both the upper and lower floors were protected by formations. After touring the Wei Yizhu residence, Li Wei left Cloud Sleeve Ward and walked toward Pale Moon Quarter. The main street of the quarter was exceptionally wide, stretching over 100 yards. The central imperial road remained empty, reserved for the palanquins of immortal realm great powers. Pale Moon Quarter was renowned throughout the world as a bustling commercial district. Immortal forests, heavenly pavilions, otherworldly coffins, rice people merchants, auction houses, medicinal pill shops, spiritual artifact stores, rare insect vendors, talisman shops. Almost every chamber of commerce had its flagship store here. Every ancient myriad power maintained a presence in the quarter. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuanhuan Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 104 359 Meeting with Hidden 2. 104th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. Half an hour later, Li Wei met with Hidden 2 on the top floor of a crimson tower in the inner hall of the Coffin Sea Pavilion in Pale Moon Square. The Coffin Sea Pavilion belonged to the Coffin Sea Merchant Guild, a subsidiary of the Zhu Hidden Sect. Seeing that it was truly Li Wei, Hidden 2 let out a long sigh of relief and clasped his hands together, bowing in a circle. Thank the heavens, and may the immortal spirits protect you. Divine Hidden One, everyone was so worried about your safety. Seeing you safe and sound puts my mind at ease. Li Wei sat down at the table and poured himself a cup of tea. Has everyone arrived in Lingxiao City? Hidden 2 was responsible for the Zhu Hidden Sect's secular affairs. Most have already arrived, and the rest are still on their way. They'll definitely be here before the first day of the 12th lunar month, Hidden 2 replied. Li Wei frowned. We have fewer than 10 Dao Seed Realm Hidden Ones from this Jiazi cycle. Why are they moving so slowly? Hidden 2 was taken aback. The Divine Hidden One's order was for all Hidden Ones that are above the Dao Seed Realm, not just those from our Jiazi cycle. After I sent the message back to Zhu Insect Valley, the 45th Supreme Elder replied that the ancient Hidden Ones are difficult to summon, but the Hidden Elders from the previous Jiazi cycle should all be arriving. The 45th Supreme Elder was the one guarding the entrance to the Zhu Hidden Sect from Zhu City, and he was also the Hidden One from the 45th year of the previous Jiazi cycle. Li Wei paused for a moment. Don't the Hidden Elders usually take orders from the Hidden Lord? If the Hidden Lord meets with an accident, the Divine Hidden One takes command. This has been the rule of the Hidden Sect for generations. Hidden 2 explained. Li Wei took a sip of tea, feeling the pressure on his shoulders increase. Having summoned them here, he was now responsible for their safety. He asked, still no definite news about the Hidden Lord. Hidden 2 shook his head and sighed. The Hidden Sect is doing everything it can to investigate and gather information, but the Imperial Court has tightly suppressed news of what happened outside South Yan Pass. Not only has the Hidden Lord disappeared, but Yang Shenjing hasn't been seen since. All we can say for now is that the lack of definite news is the best news we could hope for. Why has the Divine Hidden One summoned so many experts to Lingxiao City? Is it related to the Demon Clan or the heretical sect? Li Wei looked at him in surprise. Hidden 2 then recounted how Zuoqiu Hongting, Kang Li, and Hidden 9 had rescued Qi Xiao. After listening, Li Wei finally smiled. Zuoqiu Hongting's judgment is spot on. The Zuoqiu clan must not act rashly for now. If we alert our enemies, the consequences could be disastrous. She's come to Lingxiao City. Hidden 2 said. Li Wei's eyes widened in disbelief. What for? Doesn't she know how dangerous Lingxiao City is right now? With her innate talent, so many people would kill her for it. Hidden 2 chuckled. She's the Divine Hidden One of the Zuoqiu clan's current generation. Clearly, she's come with the Zuoqiu Hidden Sect schemes. Li Wei asked, where is she? Hidden 2 spread his hands. This young emperor keeps her whereabouts secret and rarely reveals her true face. Who knows where she is? Li Wei knew their engagement was merely a political show forced by the circumstances at the time. The betrothal could be dissolved at any moment and was not to be taken seriously. Li Wei took out a boundary pouch and placed it on the table. Use the Xuanhuan coins inside to repay the Hidden Sect 50,000. Buy me millennial essence herbs with the rest. Hidden 2 opened the boundary pouch to inspect it, secretly shocked. It contained nearly 2 million Xuanhuan coins. The Hidden Sect is responsible for half the cost of cultivation resources purchased by Divine Hidden Ones. In other words, even if Hidden 2 recovered 500,000 Xuanhuan coins, he would still need to spend another 1.5 million Xuanhuan coins, totaling 3 million Xuanhuan coins, to buy millennial essence herbs for Li Wei. Anyone else would be tearing their hair out over this. Suddenly, Li Wei asked, has Yinwu come to Lingxiao City? Hidden 2 put away his boundary pouch. Yinwu and several Dharma kings from the Earth Wolf King's army arrived 2 days ago. Now that the human clan has achieved internal reconciliation and the immortal martial edict is in effect, they're swaggering into the city, stirring up trouble everywhere. They're probably challenging the ninefold Dao image diagram right now. Li Wei asked, what's the ninefold Dao image diagram? Hidden 2 replied, you just entered the city today, right? Challenging the ninefold Dao image diagram has become the hottest topic in Lingxiao City lately. Even the third palace master issued a decree, summoning all Jiazi register experts from across the land to jointly attack Lingxiao City. He guaranteed their safety regardless of their faction, and promised a generous reward for anyone who could break through a single layer of the diagram. Li Wei's curiosity was piqued. What's so special about this ninefold Dao image diagram? Hidden 2 said, this matter begins with the number 1 Dao Seed Realm expert from the Calamity Crossing Temple. He came to the Lingxiao realm to challenge Tang Wanzhou. But upon arrival, he learned that Tang Wanzhou had fallen into an underground immortal mansion a year prior. His name had even vanished from the Jiazi register, suggesting he had likely perished. This number 1 expert then proceeded to humiliate Lingxiao City, defeating 5 of the 10 prodigies without a single one lasting 3 moves. He boasted that the Lingxiao realm had declined, no longer resembling its former glory, and that its people were nothing more than chickens and dogs. His arrogant words ignited widespread fury. Even martial mystic cultivators from the 6th and 7th heavens challenged him in anger. As you can imagine, the results were predictable. He simply waved his hand, like brushing away dust, and crushed them all. Naturally, some refused to accept defeat, claiming that they could defeat him in the same realm. They dismissed the Calamity Crossing Temple as nothing special, insisting that the Lingxiao realm was teeming with hidden talents. The Calamity Crossing Temple's number 1 expert, prepared for such challenges, seized the opportunity to produce the ninefold Dao image diagram he had brought with him. This is a profound spiritual artifact, containing the Dao images of the Calamity Crossing Temple's top expert from each of the 9 Dao Seed Realm levels. The first person claimed he didn't want to bully the Lingxiao realm. The 9 figures in the ninefold Dao image diagram represent the strongest martial mystic cultivators in each realm of the Calamity Crossing Temple's current generation, not the strongest in history. He said that if a martial mystic cultivator from the Lingxiao realm could break through 3 of the 9 figures, he would retract his words and apologize. Li Wei asked, how many have been broken through so far? Hidden 2 forced a bitter smile, not a single one. The best record belongs to Xuanhuan, the third palace master's disciple, who challenged the figure representing the 6th heaven of the Dao Seed realm. She didn't challenge the Dao image itself, but the figure's actual person, Xie Chukai, the Calamity Crossing Temple's heavenly pride who has already become famous throughout the world. She managed to withstand 7 strikes. Xie Chukai said he only used half his power out of respect for Feather Immortal. Otherwise, he could have killed her within 3 moves. This wasn't an exaggeration at all. Tai Shi Bai had once remarked that no one in the Lingxiao realm, at the same cultivation level, could withstand even a single strike from Xie Chukai and remain standing. Xingyuanu's ability to endure several moves was already quite impressive. Li Wei asked, Zhe Shantong didn't make a move. Hidden 2 replied, Zhe Shantong and his disciples just returned from cultivation at the Calamity Crossing Temple. Even if they challenged and won, the number 1 expert would simply claim it was all thanks to the temple. He'd say that without the temple's help in strengthening your foundations, you'd be nothing. Right now, the reputation of all martial mystic cultivators in the Lingxiao realm is on the line. Even Dharma kings like Yinwu and Shi Luyu are itching for a fight. Li Wei handed Xu Shanggu's ledger to Hidden 2, instructing him to dispatch Hidden Ones to investigate the Twin Rice sect strongholds listed. He hoped they could trace the clues and uncover the sect's high-ranking members in Lingxiao City. Deploy all Hidden Sect members, focusing on the Twin Rice sect and the Demon Clan. Gather all information and compile it for me by the Hidden Ones gathering 3 days from now. Remember, don't alert the enemy. After discussing the location of the Hidden Ones gathering on the first day of the 12th lunar month, Li Wei prepared to leave. If an emergency arises, where can I find you? Hidden 2 asked. Li Wei replied, go to the Tai Shi clan and ask for Zuo Ning. Also, have Yinwu and the 6 Desires Dharma King keep an eye on the Cloud Pavilion district where the Tai Shi clan resides, focusing on Long Shangsen. The 6 Desires Dharma King has a natural talent for this. In Lingxiao City and the Tai Shi clan's territory, Li Wei dared not leave 7th Phoenix outside for long, fearing discovery by immortal realm giants or holy spiritual masters. After leaving the Coffin Sea Pavilion, Li Wei casually entered a large merchant guild to purchase various top-grade talisman-making materials. Over the next 3 days, he planned to enter the Cocoon of Time to thoroughly study the Divine Swiftness Talisman and the Body-Fixing Talisman. Emerging from the merchant guild in the afternoon, the slanting sunlight cast long shadows. Rustle. A bone-chilling gust of yin wind swept through the bustling street. A layer of white frost formed on the ground. Shop banners flapped violently, and goods from stalls and various displays were blown into the air. An eerie, piercing baby's laughter echoed through the entire district, its location constantly shifting. Sensing danger, Li Wei looked ahead to the stone pillar archway. There, a purple-black ghost mist surged through the archway like an ominous cloud, blotting out the sky and enveloping the city. In an instant, the once heavenly Lingxiao city transformed into a sinister ghost domain. Another ghost infant has appeared. Quick, take shelter inside and activate the formation. Look at the archway. It's the ghost mother. This ghost mother has such a powerful aura. Whose daughter is she? I've seen her before. She's Song Qingli, the proud daughter of the West Sea Royal Manor, a female official of the Qilin Terrace, and one of the Third Palace Master's disciples. Li Wei narrowed his eyes, spotting a figure standing atop the archway 100 paces away. The woman had disheveled hair, her white robe stained with blood, and a constant stream of purplish-black ghost mist pouring from her body. It was like a drop of ink spreading through water, corrupting the entire world. So this is the ghost mother, transformed by the mother-child spring. Suddenly, a chilling baby's laughter echoed from Li Wei's right side. It was crystal clear, as if the baby were chuckling right beside his ear. Even Li Wei, renowned for his skill and courage, was startled. He quickly dodged. A scream pierced the air. A young boy, perhaps 13 or 14 years old, convulsed violently just 3 paces away from Li Wei. Swish. A foot-tall ghost infant, with a green face and fangs, leapt from the boy's arms, landing on his shoulder. It clutched a bloody mass in its tiny hands, gnawing at it before using the momentum to leap onto the nearby eaves. The boy's blood pooled on the ground. With a thud, he collapsed backward onto the ground. Li Wei realized the boy's chest cavity had been completely devoured. On the eaves, the ghost infant clutched a human heart in its hands. Swish. A gust of wind sliced through the air as the ghost infant lunged directly at Li Wei. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel. Novel. The Primordial Law. Volume 4, Xuansheng Dao Sect Twin Rice Sect. Chapter 105 360 The Battle Against the Ghost Mother. 105th of Volume 4. Translator, Shadow Knight AK. Editor, Shadow Knight AK. The ghost infant's speed was utterly inconceivable, a blur of purple-black shadow. The stench of blood attacked Li Wei's senses. His skin prickled with an icy, yin-cold power, raising his hairs on end. Almost instinctively, he summoned the golden crow flame spiritual light from his spirit realm. Whoosh. With an arm-sweeping block, a wall of crimson gold spiritual light flame erupted across the back of his hand, sending the charging ghost infant flying. The ghost infant crashed heavily into a merchant stall over 10 yards away, scattering goods everywhere. Despite its small body, its flesh was exceptionally tough. Li Wei's earlier strike could have shattered spiritual artifacts, yet the ghost infant merely struggled for a moment before scrambling back up and lunging at the fleeing pedestrians. Its killing intent and malice were overwhelming, its laughter echoing incessantly as it slaughtered 3 more people in a flash. The 5-yard-wide street erupted into chaos, screams, shouts, pounding footsteps. Everyone was running for their lives. Even top-tier 5C's realm experts intervened, but every one of them was instantly killed. The ghost infant pounced on a merchant who hadn't managed to reach the safety of his shop's formation. Its tiny claws clawed at his chest, aiming for his heart. With a whoosh, a crimson gold spirit light rope shot out from Li Wei's forehead, over 100 feet away, and wrapped around the ghost infant's neck. He pulled with all his might. The ghost infant screamed and wailed as it crashed to the ground at his feet. The spirit light rope burned its neck with a sizzling sound. Li Wei took a closer look, and his breath caught in his throat. This wasn't a human infant. It was too grotesque, with jagged fangs like saw blades, pitch-black skin, and hair like fleshy knots. Its belly bulged grotesquely, the heart it had swallowed whole still visible. If this creature truly had been born from the mother-child spring, one could only imagine the horror and despair of the women who had drunk from it in the past 2 years, and their families. Such a monster deserved to be exterminated by all. Bang! Li Wei waved his hand, unleashing a massive handprint that slammed down and crushed the ghost infant. The street cracked, leaving a handprint-shaped crater over 3 feet long. The crater was filled with purplish black blood and scattered bits of flesh. Li Wei's scalp prickled. He released his golden crow flame, incinerating the remains completely. Ah! A piercing, grief-stricken cry echoed from afar. The sound waves transformed into a hurricane. The ghost mother, perched atop a stone pillar archway, was writhing in agony. Her voice was filled with hatred as she clawed her hands into talons, her killing intent surging. She swooped down toward Li Wei. Her long hair was disheveled, her double pupils burned with green flames, and her body technique was uncanny as she flitted across the rooftops lining the street. As she moved, layers of frost rapidly spread from the ground to Li Wei's feet. Whoosh! Whoosh! 6 Dao Seed Realm experts from the Imperial Court, clad in white armor and riding strange birds, plunged through the formation light veil surrounding the district to confront the Ghost Mother. Working together, they unleashed a net-like spiritual artifact. The scripture emanating from the artifact enveloped the entire city district within a 1-mile radius, suppressing the Ghost Mother and binding her relentlessly. The Ghost Mother was formidable, but the 6 who had come to capture her were no ordinary opponents. The street below was deserted, with pedestrians either fleeing or taking refuge in the formations within shops. The 7 figures flickered like 7 stars, their powerful energies constantly being absorbed by the formations in the sky and underground. Several miles away, the world-suppressing steel of the pale moon quarter glowed brightly. Despite the chaotic battle between Dao Seed Realm experts, only 1 or 2 buildings had been destroyed. The surrounding city district was filled with towering vermilion cloud towers, each over a dozen stories high, surrounded by secondary structures. The architecture was grand, offering expansive views. Countless young martial mystic cultivators gathered at the railings, gazing at the distant battle and murmuring among themselves. Li Wei sensed the gazes fixed on him and, not wanting to draw attention, quickly descended the stone steps in front of the shop and hurried away. Boom! A powerful Imperial Court warrior in white armor shot across the street like a cannonball, spewing blood as he crashed to the ground a dozen paces from Li Wei, unable to rise. He had been severely wounded by the Ghost Mother's palm strike, delivered through the spiritual artifact net. Dozens of paces away, trapped within the net, the Ghost Mother glared at the fleeing Li Wei and emitted a piercing, ear-splitting shriek. The Imperial Court experts holding the corners of the spiritual artifact net had their eardrums shattered, their skulls nearly split open by her roar. Sizzle. From the Ghost Mother's ancestral field, a 5-foot-long azure gold horse-cleaving saber materialized, its hilt over a foot long. The purple-black ghost mist and the spiritual artifact net were torn apart by the azure blade chi she unleashed. The blade chi formed a wall of azure light that stretched from dozens of paces away, all the way to Li Wei's back. Its domineering power was overwhelming. A deep groove appeared in the center of the street, as if it had been plowed. All 5 Imperial Court experts were sent flying, crashing haphazardly against the formation light veil. She actually knows how to use a blade. Li Wei was speechless. He'd heard earlier that she was from the West Sea Prince's estate and a disciple of the Third Palace Master, meaning she had 2 transcendents backing her. Her inherited strength was unimaginable. He charged forward at lightning speed, but the formation light veil blocked his escape. In an instant, the Ghost Mother had crossed dozens of meters, appearing behind Li Wei with her blade raised. Her porcelain white skin was crisscrossed with a dense network of purple-black veins, contorting her face into a terrifying grimace. Whoosh! Clenching the blade with both hands, she raised it above her head, channeling all the power of her muscles and bones into her sky-cleaving horse-dismounting strike. Countless blade chi swirled around her. The azure gold horse-cleaving saber's blade shimmered with over 800 scripture characters. It was an 8th-grade 100-character artifact, its power beyond imagination. Forward. Spiritual light flame erupted from Li Wei's body. He teleported sideways over a dozen meters, appearing atop a 3-story building to the right. The Ghost Mother's blade cleaved through empty air, the blade chi crashing against the formation light veil nearby, causing the veil to ripple like a raging ocean. Her body technique was swift and fierce, as she crossed the empty void, catching up to Li Wei once more, her hatred reaching the heavens. Swish. Swish. Li Wei continuously activated the Qian forward secret incantation, dodging and teleporting, leading her toward the 5 Imperial Court experts. To his surprise, the 5 Imperial Court experts had never encountered such a formidable Ghost Mother before and fled in disarray. As long as they could trap her here, the Imperial Court would soon send even stronger reinforcements to suppress her. What made the situation dire was that Li Wei had killed her child, and she was solely focused on pursuing him. There was nowhere left to run. Li Wei abruptly stopped, standing tall atop the pavilions. He released a fragment of his spiritual power. With a wave of his arm, a branch of the Fusong divine tree materialized, stretching several dozen feet long. Its leaves, like crimson gold, stirred up terrifying energy fluctuations as it clashed with the Ghost Mother's slashing blade. The impact of their direct collision sent her reeling backward. They separated momentarily, then collided again. Boom. Bang. One wielded a branch of spiritual light, the other a blade. They advanced and retreated, their power pure and unadulterated, exchanging blows with ever-changing techniques. Even without using the myriad manifestation staff spear, Li Wei's psychic power was no less formidable than hers. The only thing to be wary of was the 8th-grade 100-character artifact, the horse-slaying saber, she wielded. Forget slaying horses, at her cultivation level, she could cleave through city walls with a single strike if not protected by a formation. 2 miles away, atop a towering cylindrical cloud pavilion in the immortal forest, countless noble scions of Lingxiao City gathered. All possessed pure immortal physiques, they gazed at the ghost mist-shrouded streets in the distance. Blade light clashed with fiery shadows, the deafening roar of battle echoing through the air as their intricate moves unfolded. This young mind master is incredibly strong, one remarked. Spiritual light enshrouds his body, granting him lightning-fast reflexes. He can hold his own in close combat with Song Qingli. His psychic power is quite unique, exceptionally potent. To match Song Qingli's strength, he must be no ordinary individual. Do you know anything about his background? I've never seen him before. With such mastery of psychic power, he should have already made a name for himself and been listed in the Jiazi register. Song Qingli is the top expert under 40 from the Song clan of the West Sea Palace. Even if you include those in their 40s and 50s, she still ranks among the top 5. The West Sea Palace is truly brimming with talent, rivaling even the ancient myriad sects. Among the noble scions gathered at the Cloud Pavilion, there were several mid-generation masters. However, none of them rushed to the scene. They wanted to avoid getting involved in the trouble. Song Qingli's special status and the significant interests and reputations at stake behind her made the situation delicate. Winning and suppressing her offered no benefits. Injuring her could bring disaster. Losing and dying at her hands would be a pointless death. Tai Shi Yu, the #1 psychic power user in Lingxiao City within the 60-year cycle, held a high position among this group, surrounded by admirers like the moon encircled by stars. Martial mystic Dao masters, high-ranking official sons, and immortal attendants all gathered around him. This Zuo Ning. HMPH, I didn't expect him to be such a busybody. Tai Shi Yu's psychic power nerves had long been focused on the scene. He saw that Li Wai had missed his chance to escape the street district only to save someone. His anger had led him to kill the ghost infant, which had brought trouble upon him. This behavior dispelled much of Tai Shi Yu's suspicion. He had been worried that Li Wai was a master planted by a heretical sect or the demon race to infiltrate Tai Shi Bai's circle. Tai Shi Yu instructed a retainer beside him, investigate why Song Qingli was in the Pale Moon Quarter. Nearby, a gasp erupted, azure cloud obscuring the moon, flowing wind returning snow. It's the West Sea Palace's great technique, the return to truth blade technique. 2 miles away on the street. Li Wai had initially believed that the Ghost Mother's erratic mental state and chaotic battle tactics gave him the advantage. He planned to stall until the Imperial Court's top experts arrived. But suddenly, the Ghost Mother's spiritual chi erupted explosively, transforming into a denser, inky black cloud. The wind howled, and snowflakes fell like blades. With a single slash, she unleashed the second layer of the return to truth blade technique, the formless slash. 10,000 blade shadows surged forth, merging into a river of steel. The Ghost Mother danced above the blade river, her form splitting into 3, then 9. In all 9 directions, figures wielding long blades materialized. Whoosh! Li Wai retreated swiftly, activating his heavenly eye to discern truth from falsehood. He then summoned the myriad manifestations staff spear hidden within his wind mansion, channeling psychic power to wield it. Boom! Swinging the spear like a club, he struck the Ghost Mother's azure gold horse cleaving saber. Spiritual light and blade chi surged outward in all directions, filling the entire street with their overwhelming power. Clang! Li Wai parried the long blade. In the next instant, his form blurred like a wisp of blue smoke as he flashed before the Ghost Mother. He struck her forehead with a single finger, shouting, J. T.N. There are several meanings for word, J, so I have decided to use pinyin J for now, since it's a secret incantation and I can't be certain of its exact meaning. A ripple of sonic spiritual light emanated from Li Wai, sending her flying like a fallen leaf. Strangely, the Ghost Mother, who had been utterly ferocious moments before, collapsed to the ground after being calmed and her soul subdued by the J character. Her body went limp, her long blade clattered to the ground, and she fell prone. The purplish-black veins that had covered her face rapidly faded. Whoosh! The formation light veil opened, and a 100-man cavalry unit from the Imperial Court and several experts from the West Sea Palaces arrived, surrounding the Ghost Mother. The clan elder from the West Sea Palace removed his outer robe and knelt down, preparing to cover the Ghost Mother's face and carry her away. Just then, the Ghost Mother's eyes fluttered open slightly, and she called out, Grandpa Fu. The clan elder froze, surprised that Song Qingli could still be conscious after being caught up in the Ghost Infant incident. Blank. End of chapter. Subscribe to the MTL World at Malworld 1 YouTube channel.